Welcome to the show. We've got another great episode scheduled for you here this week. We're going to have Jason Koegler, the Vice President of Institutional Advancement at West Liberty University, and also the co-founder of WeLunk, an online publication you may have been hearing about, and I've even mentioned here on the show, with us later on. First, we're going to start with our usual features, and as always, that's the Community Champion of the Week first. And this week, I want to give it out to a group of people who don't necessarily even have a name, but it was some Shady Side high school football fans who actually kind of saved the guy's life this past weekend at their game at River. A man was overcome with an illness or a medical condition, and fortunately, the fans had an AED there on the site, and they were able to use that device and some other life-saving measures to provide care, get him to the point where he was able to be transported and to be able to do okay. And I want to give a shout out to them for not only having the AED there, but also knowing what to do with it, knowing how to take care of this gentleman so that he can be transported. And anytime you can potentially save someone's life, that should be commended. And I want to talk a little bit about these AEDs. You know, this is something that people should know how to use. If you have an opportunity to learn how to use one, take the time to do it. Get certified. My office at my law firm just this past week had a certification session that was put on by the Wheeling Fire Department for our employees that need to be recertified. We do it every year or two so that people can learn how to use these devices, learn how to do CPR, and it's extremely important to know how to do that. And these devices are now in many public places. A lot of the schools have them, athletic facilities, businesses have them. We have one in each of our offices at our law firm. And it's important because minutes count when somebody's having some type of medical episode like that. And if you know how to use the AED, if you know how to provide CPR when necessary, then you really can not only make a difference in someone's life, but perhaps save it. So those Shady Side fans are our Community Champion of the Week here. Turning next to the quote of the week. And the quote of the week this week is something that was particularly timely because it was said this weekend by Vin Scully, and that was, "I have said enough for a lifetime." For those of you that may not know, Vin Scully was the longtime play-by-play announcer for the Dodgers, starting with the team when they were actually in Brooklyn in 1950 and just retiring here in 2016 at the age of 88. Now think about that. He started calling play-by-play for the Dodgers in 1950, just a few years after World War II ended, well before the Kennedy administration, the civil rights movement in the 60s. He started off being the play-by-play announcer for the Dodgers in Brooklyn, moved with the team out to California, and has been the play-by-play guy for the Los Angeles Dodgers for all these years. And I think his quote, "I have said enough for a lifetime," really says a lot, actually. There comes a certain point in everyone's life when you've said and done enough, and sometimes that's hard to realize and recognize. It's hard for people to step away from their jobs and retire. It's hard for people to be facing the end of their lifetime. And I think that the way that he so simply and humbly but eloquently put it, that "I have said enough for a lifetime," is something to be thought about as we all grow older, as we see our loved ones grow older, to know that we're here for a reason, we're here for a purpose, and when it's all said and done, hopefully we've done our part, we've done as much as we can, and we can be satisfied and step aside. And kudos to Vin Scully for doing that for all those years, for having the endurance, the stamina, the perseverance to stick with something that he loves so much, and hope the best for him in his retirement, and that he may get some rest and be able to enjoy the rest of his life the way he has always enjoyed life up to this point. So Vin Scully has given us our quote of the week. Next, our legal tip. Being given lousy jobs at work is not discrimination. Oftentimes I'll get calls from people and say, "Look, it seems like at work I'm given all the lousy jobs to do, and so gets the good things, and I've been here longer than him. I shouldn't be given the lousy jobs. I'm being discriminated against." Well, that's not discrimination. You can be discriminated against at work, no doubt. I mean, because of your race, because of your gender. There are certain categories of things that the law provides that you cannot be discriminated against because of those classifications. However, just being given lousy things to do because you don't like to do them, or you've been there longer, or you think it's beneath you, is not discrimination. It may be a boss who's treating you unfairly, but that's not against the law. The law provides that you can leave anytime you want. Most people are at-will employees. That means that you can be fired at any time and you can quit at any time. So if you're being given lousy jobs, the thing to do is just either kind of put up with it, do your job, keep a smile on your face, or quit you're able to leave and go get a new job if you can, but you don't have legal ramification unless you're in a protected class, which is one of those things that I've mentioned, and there are a few others as well, of course. So keep that in mind, that just because someone's been there a shorter period of time than you, that doesn't mean that you have rights over and above them. It doesn't mean that the boss can't tell you what to do anymore. That person can't even become your boss. A lot of times people call me about that and say, I've been here longer than this person and they were promoted and I have more seniority than them. Well, that just doesn't matter. That's not the way it works. Now, the exception to that also may be if you have a contract or if you have some type of union protection that provides for some type of collective bargaining agreement with how things are going to go. But otherwise, you may just be out of luck. So keep that in mind, that being given lousy jobs at work in and of itself is not discrimination. We're going to need to take a break. When we come back, I'll be speaking with Jason Koegler, the Vice President of Institutional Advancement at West Liberty University and co-founder of Weelunk and Bandelier. Stay with us here on the Jamie Bordas Show.
So, how was your first day?
Long. So, Josh asked me about you.
Daddy's home. Go get him.
For your home, for your life, for more than 50 years. The Hardwood Specialists. DeNoon Lumber.
Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration has been restoring homes after disasters for nearly 4 decades. Through that experience, we present Panhandle Custom Homes, Kitchens, and Baths. We handle your entire project, from concept to completion, working with you every step of the way. From the budget-minded upgrade to a fully custom remodel, you can trust the Panhandle name. Panhandle Custom Homes, Kitchens, and Baths. Welcome home.
Welcome back to the show. Always one of my favorite parts of the show here, to have a guest with me. And I have Jason Koegler, the Vice President of Institutional Advancement at West Liberty and co-founder of Weelunk and Bandelier, here with me this week. Jason, appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks for having me, and congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. I want to talk about West Liberty first. You're the Vice President of Institutional Advancement, and I had to actually think for a minute about what does that actually mean? And I guess it means you try to do positive things for the university, draw positive attention, and also probably raise some funds for the university. Yep,
absolutely. I've been there for about 9 years now, and my job description is to advance the university. So in all things external, I'm involved with, but more specifically and most recently, considering the state of our state budget, fundraising is my main priority.
I want to talk about that a little bit. Okay, fundraising, because some people may think, why do I give money to a state university? I'm already paying taxes. Shouldn't that be enough? I mean, Uncle Sam takes it, the state takes it, and part of what the state takes should be going toward these statewide colleges and universities. That's why I'm paying those taxes. So why should people then give on top of that?
Well, our case for support is to support the students of our local community and provide an opportunity for a higher education, a high quality education. But if you consider these numbers, in 1980, 60% of West Liberty's operating budget was covered by the state of West Virginia in their appropriation. And this coming year, this fiscal year, we're at 18%. So in order to balance our budget and to keep our tuition still affordable, which is one of our niches at West Liberty and one of the things that we're here to do, to provide an affordable education, we either need to increase enrollment, which would be our revenue, or to raise private funds in order to keep things level. So unfortunately, it's the priority of higher education and how that's changed over time. In the California system in the 60s, college was free. And here we are where students across the country are graduating with a lot of debt and are already handcuffed, if you will, even if they have a great education.
You mentioned, the differences between the budget now versus what it was before in terms of the state contributions. Also some changes, of course, to the school over the years. Okay. Back in the day, known more as a teacher's college, so to speak, and now West Liberty University and so many more programs than what were previously offered, and some of those are even new in the last year or two here.
Correct. So we have many new programs, and we still have like you mentioned, the education program, which is still one of our cornerstones, and our dental hygiene, which a lot of people don't know, but it's still one of the best in the country. But we have a lot of new programs, like our brand new program that we're really proud of, which is a partnership with Ogilvy. It's our Zoo Sciences program, which is a great major. But something that we've shifted towards in terms of our strategy is to offer, becoming a university in 2009 allows us to offer master's programs. So we have a number of graduate programs recently announced and in the pipeline. And so, yeah, those take professors. There's a cost associated with that. If you look at our physician's assistant program, our master's in physician assistant program, that took a multi-million-dollar investment on the front end in order to provide something that, which has been a tremendous benefit, not only for West Liberty, but the state, providing PAs around the state when we have, such a great need for rural healthcare, for example.
Of course, in some ways, I got my start on TV there at West Liberty. One of the big programs that they have at West Liberty, is the broadcast journalism program, and the own station with WLUTV. And of course, I had a show up there for a few years and really enjoyed that. Part of what I enjoyed the most was interacting with the students. I think when you're on a college campus, there's a certain energy to it. With people that are excited, they're young, they're learning things around people their own age, they're learning life skills in addition to the education they're receiving. And I enjoyed that every week, just being around people that were so positive and there was so much energy. And you may get that same enjoyment when you're up there working every week.
Absolutely. I mean, it's working on a college campus, there's everything in life there. You go to the liberal arts, to sciences, to communications, and just have a show of hands in this building right now of how many people are West Liberty graduates. And you'll be surprised of people who graduated from that program who immediately get jobs in the field. West Banco headquarters down the road here, 100 employees plus West Liberty graduates.
Is that right?
Yeah. So that's one of our cases for support as a fundraiser that we really try to focus on, is that you have a city here that maybe we'll talk a little bit more about it, that's under revitalization, that's growing, that's rebranding itself, and colleges are a big part of that. As precedent, seeing in Morgantown and Pittsburgh, where you had dying communities, exodus of industry, colleges come in, and the research at those universities, like in Pittsburgh's case, the healthcare and technology at Carnegie Mellon and Pitt and all the colleges there, that's what they're known for now, and people are actually moving there. So at West Liberty, we have the challenge because people think we're so far away and off the hill, but we are the community's university, and so if you want to invest in Wheeling or invest in the Ohio Valley, we say invest in West Liberty, and we can be that change agent, like the previous examples that I mentioned.
We need to take a break. When we come back, we'll keep talking with Jason Koegler about West Liberty University and also talk about his other businesses, which are Wheelunk and Vandalier. Stay with us here on the Jamie Bordas Show.
Every day, more than 70,000 puppies and kittens are born in the United States. Just one female can contribute more than 2 million offspring in 8 years. At the Tiffany DeLess Spay and Neuter Clinic, we are trying to help. We offer reduced cost services to income-qualified families from all over the Ohio Valley. We understand that the cost of owning a pet can be overwhelming, and that stress multiplies when they do. Call the Tiffany DeLess Spay and Neuter Clinic or visit us online to find out if we can help you.
People always ask me what it means to be a dealer for the people. For the people is a simple idea. It means we believe that everybody deserves to drive a nicer, newer car. This belief drives the entire team at Robinson Auto Group to care more, to try harder, and to work smarter. Whatever's keeping you from driving that car you want, I guarantee we'll try our best to help you. We're Robinson Auto Group, and we're the dealer for the people.
Welcome back to the show. I've been speaking with Jason Koegler, the Vice President of Institutional Advancement at West Liberty University, and we're going to continue talking about West Liberty a little bit here. And Jason, you mentioned about how a university can university can be such an important part of a community revitalization. But another thing it seems like it can do is draw such positive attention to an area. And one of the things that's done that with West Liberty is the basketball team.
Yeah.
Over the past half decade or so here, the team's gone on to compete in the Final Four, Elite Eight on a number of occasions, and preseason #1 now here again.
Yeah.
It has to bring some excitement there to the Hilltop.
Oh, you take it for granted. Of course, it's been so many years in a row. I think 4 out of the last 6 we made the Final Four in Division II. And yes, we're preseason #1, and I've been a big part of it. I've been not a big part of the success, but in terms of the exposure and making sure, trying to measure it and see, it's a really hard thing to measure. But I'll give you a couple of statistics. When we made the national championship game a couple of years ago, we actually, it's on CBS, national television. Our ratings were 3.1 million viewers. Our website crashed during those 2 hours.
Wow.
Our Facebook reach went up to like 400,000. And so, yeah, that's a huge marketing tool that's free, if you will, and it brings a lot of, like you said, positive exposure. The other great thing is that it really rallies the community. And if you can't make it to Texas, or this year, hopefully we make it, it's in South Dakota.
Wow.
But TJ's is sold out. The Wild Wild West, like everyone, we give out topper towels and keep people engaged. And then when they were runners up a couple years ago in Evansville, when they came back, the community surprised the team and lined the National Road and waved for them. So it's just a tremendous experience, and it's so hard to believe that Jim Crutchfield started off at West Liberty as our tennis coach, and here he is just crushing it on the national scene. So, yeah.
You mentioned TJ's Wild Wild West, but new restaurant coming to West Liberty now.
Yeah.
Generations is going to put a location there right across from campus, I guess, on a building that's owned by the university?
Correct. We were able to announce that just in the past couple of days. Next weekend is homecoming, and it'll be open by then. And it's the former Roadworthy restaurant, and Generations is taking it over. The university owns it, and it'll be called G-Top, Generations at the Hilltop. It'll be opened a little bit of a limited schedule. They're going to kind of see, get their feet on the ground and see what the response is. But they'll be open most evenings throughout the week, and a bit later on the weekends. And our students are really excited. It really adds a little element of a college feel, which we're kind of lacking right now. And to be frank, it prevents or creates an opportunity for our students where they don't have to drive off the hill and, drinking, driving, all those type of things. It's going to be great. They're going to have it's a sports theme where the kids will get to go and watch NFL games. They'll have lots of different nights like karaoke, and so we're really excited.
I think a good partnership between the university and Mike DePlaga and his crew down there at Generations. I think it'll go really well.
Yeah, we're excited.
Turn our attention a little bit to WeLunk. This is an online publication, so is Vandalier, that you're co-founder of, and people may have seen or heard of WeLunk a little bit, but not know exactly what's this all about. I mean, why WeLunk, and what's the purpose of it? So, what was the goal there?
The goal is it stemmed from a lot of people our age moving back to town, or who stayed in town, who wanted to be a little bit more efficient in making a difference. And something that we realized for those of us who were out of town is that there was a missing complement to the traditional media in town, and that's really a platform for communication, for networking, for sharing ideas, and for highlighting the positive things in a town. Those are essentials for a revitalization. If you're a business looking to do business here, yeah, the tax laws are important, the zoning is important, the job base is important, but also how are they going to feel about it? Is it cool? Is it interesting? And something that we say with WeLunk and Vandalier, which is a statewide version of WeLunk, is not only are we cool now, but we always have been. So we focus a lot on history and ideas for the future. And basically, it's what we put a call out. We do have Steve Novotny writing for us, who's our employee, but we also have received over 250 contributions from different people around the Ohio Valley, from 16-year-olds at Wheeling Park High School or John Marshall to 86-year-old poets. Wow. And so we like to think that we've brought the soul of the town to the surface, and in a positive way. And it's a good compliment. We're not in competition with the local media at all. It's just a platform, and it's also utilizing technology right now, which is easier to do, sharing with social media, online. They have lots of interesting stats, but one of them is that 75% of our readers read all the WeLunk articles on their phone. So it's a new way of absorbing technology and media.
So just go to WeLunk.com?
WeLunk.com, and WeLunk, it sounds kind of crazy, but it's the original Delaware Native American name of Wheeling. So that's where we get that. But WeLunk.com or Vandeleur.com, which is the statewide version.
And then also, I guess, if you like either one of those on Facebook, then you can just get it in your feed.
Yeah, we encourage you to like it on Facebook. We're very Facebook driven. And also, if you want to contribute, if you've got an idea, don't worry. You don't have to be an expert writer. We have editors. Go ahead and message us on Facebook or send us an email, and we'd love to hear your story.
Well, great. Well, Jason, I appreciate you being on the show here today. Appreciate hearing about what's going on at West Liberty, and then also WeLunk for people that haven't checked it out, Vandeleur for people that haven't checked it out. Hopefully they learn a little bit about it here, and maybe they do read, because I found the articles to be very interesting. Still love Josh Wack's article on Elm Grove to Carlos, maybe the best. Always one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of fun stuff about the history of the area and also what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Okay.
We need to take a break. When we come back, we'll be talking sports. Stay with us.
At Progressive Bank, our loan process is unique. It's personal. Our local lenders ease your mind and help you get the loan you need and deserve. Progressive Bank. Personal bankers with millions to lend to local families and businesses. Come in, Ohio Valley. We're lending.
Fighting for homeowners. Fighting for workers.
Fighting for children.
Fighting for mineral owners.
Fighting for patients.
Fighting for policyholders.
Bordas and Bordas, fighting for justice.
Progressive Bank understands borrowing money can be a daunting experience. Our local lenders ease your mind and help you get the loan you need and deserve. Progressive Bank. Personal bankers with millions to lend to local families and businesses. Come in, Ohio Valley. We're lending.
Welcome back to the show. We're going to talk sports. As always, the first thing we'll do here is award our Sports Person of the Week. And this week it is Ohio State University quarterback JT Barrett. And the reason that I'm awarding JT Barrett the Sports Person of the Week is because he set the career record for touchdown passes at Ohio State. And it wasn't so much that he set the record. It's the fact that here we have a guy who was injured 2 years ago. Cardale Jones comes in for the final 3 games, leads Ohio State to the national championship game. They win that. And then the next season, JT Barrett finds himself not in the starter's role. Cardale Jones gets the start until partway through the season. Then JT Barrett takes back over the starting role. But he had to persevere. I mean, he had to kind of stick with it. You're the guy. You're leading the team all the way through the season. Then you get hurt. You come back the next season. You're not the starter anymore. And to stick with it, earn the starting job back, lead the team the rest of last season, and then now unquestionably be the guy this year and set the mark for career touchdown passes at Ohio State University, a school that's been playing football for a really long time at a very high level, is just remarkable. So JT Barrett is the Sports Person of the Week. Sticking with sports here, the Steelers. Wow, I said they would win by a touchdown or less over the Chiefs. I said they would win, but geez Louise, I tell you what. I don't think anybody thought it would be a 43-14 win. I went up to the game, and partway through the first quarter, it's like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a rout, and it turned out that it was. Just the offense, the defense, everything was just rolling in that game. And of course, Big Ben on the mark all night. I mean, only a handful of incompletions the entire evening, 300 yards passing again. So a remarkable performance there by the Steelers. Now they have to face the Jets, and whose quarterback has been less than stellar the last couple of weeks. So the defense will get a chance to do some damage again. But with the way the offense is rolling, and Le'Veon Bell was back, and he looked true to form. I mean, didn't seem like he had missed a beat at all from that injury of last year and then missing the first 3 games of this year due to suspension. So Big Ben Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, all playing a full game together for the first time in a couple of years, looked unstoppable. So I will take the Steelers again this week. I'll take the Steelers by 10 over the Jets, and I think they'll continue to roll here throughout the season and do very well. Major League Baseball playoffs are upon us, and I'm just going to make a prediction. I'm going to say the Cubs do not win the World Series. Sorry, Cubs fans. Even though they had over 100 wins this year, I don't think this will be the year they break the drought. I'm going to take the Red Sox to win the World Series. I will pick them coming out of the American League, and I'll say the Red Sox beat the Cubs in the World Series to win it all. WVU with the big come-from-behind win last week over Kansas State. First time Dana Holgerson's beaten Kansas State since he's been at West Virginia. And that was a very important win, launched WVU into the top 25 in both polls, 20 in one, 22 in the other. And now they get another off week before facing Texas Tech down in Texas in a week and a half or so here. That'll be another big test, first big road test in the Big 12 for the Mountaineers. So be interesting to see there. Only WVU and Baylor remain unbeaten in the Big 12. I don't know how long that can last, but those two teams are actually scheduled to face off at the end of the season, the last regular season game of the year in Morgantown. So we'll keep an eye on Baylor as well as the season moves along. Ohio State did well in their scrimmage against Rutgers, rolling 58-0. Another scrimmage this week against Indiana before a big game against Wisconsin. Wisconsin, of course, was knocked off by Michigan by a touchdown this past weekend. But Wisconsin, because it was close and because of their previous success in the games leading up to that, still ranked very high, number 11 in the country. So that'll be a big matchup between the Buckeyes and Wisconsin in 2 weeks. But Ohio State will have no trouble again this week facing Indiana. Told you to watch Clemson-Louisville last Saturday night, and boy, that was worth it if you watched it. Clemson with the big win, goal line stand at the end to hold on and beat Louisville, and I thought that's what might happen. I mean, Clemson's been there before. They were in the college football playoff last year. Louisville kind of new to the big-time college football ranks and being highly ranked, and they performed well, but just not quite enough to overcome Clemson down there in Death Valley. You watch them run down that entry they make where they rub the rock and they come down the hill and they're all jumping and the fans are screaming. Tough place to win. So don't count Louisville out just yet for this season, but a big win for Clemson at home last weekend. This week, watch out Alabama. Alabama faces Arkansas. Alabama better be on upset alert. That's one that they could get knocked off on the road. Keep an eye on that one. And then also a big game between Texas A&M and Tennessee. Texas A&M, number 8 in the country. Tennessee, number 9, took a Hail Mary for Tennessee that probably saved Butch Jones' job. He was actually crying on the field after the Hail Mary that won the game for them. He was probably going to lose his job if they had lost on the pass just seconds before, the long pass that Georgia had completed to take the lead. They may have saved Butch Jones' career at Tennessee, and that'll be a big game this week. And then also keep an eye on Washington and Oregon. Washington ranked as high as they've been in years, number 5 in the country. I'll take Oregon to upset Washington this week. That's all the time we have this week. See us again next week here on the Jamie Bordas Show.